Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, everybody. It's your girl, Sunny D. Welcome to tonight's show. Guys, y'all want to say hi?
What's going on, good people? You already know it's your boy Clint, aka Smooth.
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Or actually in the car.
My thing. Willie never in the building. He always on the go. But if you're listening right now, you're on blogtalkradio.com/GFT radio show. And if you're catching the playback, you're either on SoundCloud, Google Play Music, iTunes, YouTube, and Blog Talk Radio yet again. If you want to cop some merch, I got the All Skin Folk and Kinfolk shirt on right now. But if y'all want to cop some merch and y'all want to wear one of our T-shirts, go to teespring.com/stores/GFT radio. And get y'all some merchandise. Support this podcast that we know y'all love. We see y'all listening. We see the numbers going up. So now y'all listening. We just need y'all to participate and help support what we're doing so we can push forward. It is October 14th. It's already the middle of October. That's crazy.
I know, right?
October 14th. Huh?
I said, I know, right? This year moving.
Yeah, it's going at a pace, y'all. Christmas will be here for those who celebrate Christmas, Halloween. Like, I got invited to like 3 Halloween parties. Ain't bought no costume. I'm just not there yet. I'm just I already seen Christmas shit in the store. I'm like, bitch, let Thanksgiving come first. Like, let Halloween come, Thanksgiving, then y'all can start playing. They just doing stuff too quickly. I'm not ready.
Time flying. Time flies. We having fun.
Yeah, and we ain't having fun. We just being busy and being grown. That's all that is.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
But if y'all want to join in the conversation, 657-383-1155 for those who can call in. We're talking about autism awareness, but before we jump in the topic, we're going to let Clint do his thing. Clint?
What's going on, good people? So here at, excuse me, at GFT Radio, what we're going to start doing every month, maybe a couple shows a month. We're going to start highlighting people in our community that's doing positive things. Doesn't matter what it is as long as it's positive, whether it could be sports, music, artists, poetry, or people, politicians, whoever people is doing positive things in the community. We're going to start highlighting because there's so much negativity that is being shown that comes from our communities. We want to start highlighting the positive, especially in the city of Trenton, where me and Sonny are at. We, what I mean, we get bombarded with negative news all the time, so we just want to start highlighting people that's doing positive things in the community. So today, the first person I wanted to highlight is my boy Vince. We call him Smooth too. He got his own nonprofit. Yeah, he got his own nonprofit organization called Tough Foundation. It stands for Tough Trenton United Family Foundation, Inc. What they do is that's who, when we GFT Radio, when doing our back to school events, we posted it on our IG, and I think we might have posted it on our Facebook. But we donated some book bags to a book bag giveaway. That was his giveaway that they were having. He the one that sponsored that. You feel me? They do. What he told me is they do events like every other month. So this past weekend, they just had an event when they went around to 5 different parks, and they cleaned up the parks and little surrounding areas. You feel me? You can go to his IG page, see his pictures on his IG page. It's Tough Foundation 2017. That's TUFF Foundation 2017. That's on the IG, so you could get in contact with them there. Like I said, they do stuff every other month. I wanted to get him on the line tonight, but he had to work. He said next month in December, during the first week, they going to do a little feed the homeless. You know what I mean? So he does stuff. They're starting a mentoring program as well called Tough Boys and Tough Girls. You know, his goal is to give back to the community. So hopefully one of these days we can get him on here and he could give people more information about it. But like I said, you can reach him. He doesn't have a Facebook page set up for the foundation yet. But once he has that, I'll let y'all know. But like I said, you can get in contact with him on IG, Tough Foundation. That's TUFFOUNDATION 2017. He's also, they're trying to get sponsors right now so they can get more funding. They do have a website yet. It's under the wixsite.com. It's toughfoundation2017.wixsite.com. Trenton United Family F. When we post the replay of this video on YouTube and our other sites, I'm gonna have Sonny put the link to his website in there in the description.
Definitely.
So y'all can click on it. You know what I mean? Get even more information. So
yeah, definitely. I might even put them in like the video when you know I would do the videos for the set the video for the playback on YouTube. Maybe I'll put that information out also on the video as well.
Yeah, that'd be dope. So
yeah. And that's crazy because I know Vince. I knew Vince for quite a while and didn't even know. Like that's how crazy Trenton is. You can know a lot of people and not know what they're doing within the community. But and this is the purpose of us highlighting these people because you just never know what the people that you know or interact with or have some type of exchange with at some point in your lifetime, you don't know what they're doing. That's definitely a positive thing.
Yeah. Let me also give you their email too.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Their email is toughfoundation2017@gmail.com. And remember, it's spelled TUFFOUNDATION2017@gmail.com. That's how you can get in touch with them. You can email them too. If y'all want to reach out, y'all want to help out, you know what I mean, or collab on anything, like I said, we'll have further information as well.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's dope. I hope I can't wait till the next one we do the highlighting of these people. And that's why I said that kind of educates us as well as we didn't know what these people in our communities are doing. Now we know, and we could, contribute. Like I know we've been doing the backpack thing. We just like here, all right, which I guess we buy backpacks or whatever, and we just put our money together and do it without even knowing like the full information. All we know is that it's something positive. Let's just do it. But now to kind of get the backstory of it, that's dope.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And like I said, hopefully next time we can get him call in. But hopefully the next person we highlight, they'll be able to call in too, and we'll get them on the line. I think that'll be dope going forward. That'll be dope going forward.
Just to get them in, especially to talk about what they're doing.
Right. Like I said, give more details on upcoming events or upcoming opportunities for people to get involved as well.
Absolutely. But let's jump into this other topic for tonight. As I said, we're talking about autism awareness. Y'all know this is near and dear to my heart. I know Willie and Clint have been a part of kind of kept them abreast of the journey and stuff. I'm hoping that this caller that we have, they get to call in because I really want this person to call in to kind of talk about their personal experience with this. But we wanted to talk about autism awareness and kind of make people aware. This is one of the things that we're going to be trying to implement different things of us giving back. You said more talking, less doing. Less talking, more doing. I'm sorry. So this is one of the things that we want to move forward with, going forward with trying to bring awareness and talk about that. This is one of the different, what do I want to call it? Programs, I guess, or causes, causes that we want to kind of highlight throughout GFT Radio. We got a lot of stuff that's kind of near and dear to us individually and as a collective, so we want to kind of give back to these different organizations to try to help out and further the cause. So I kind of briefly want to talk about this past Sunday, which was yesterday. We did the walk. Me and my kids did the walk. You know, I walked with my son. He's autistic. We talked about this before. And we did a dope walk. I raised $250 on the Facebook page. I raised $60 through my job doing dollar donations. I got to put that on to the send that out to them and do the donation. Either do it online or do it through the mail to add it to the collective. But it was a dope experience. Just kind of briefly want to talk about it. Like, it's just one of those things where I feel like, from my personal experience, as like watching, going out to walks like this, you see different breast cancer awareness walks. So you see the big crowds and the big teams. For me personally, it kind of bothered me that I didn't have a big team like I had the previous years. At the same time, I still was encouraged to walk because it's a good experience to kind of get that camaraderie of knowing that you're not alone within this autism journey. You're seeing how important it is to educate the communities and educate people on what autism is, because, you know, we have a broad ideal of what we think autism is, and you don't really understand unless you're actually affected by it or know someone that's affected by it in some nature to kind of get a better understanding of what it is. So our one of our things is to make people aware of autism, what it is, and, you know, different things that people just don't think about that they might need to know about, or how to motivate them or how to move throughout their day when they encounter people that are not only disabled but autistic and otherwise. So I think it's a dope experience to go. If you have never been, I think you should go and kind of understand. You kind of get to hear some of the stories. You could talk, if you are a person that's talkative, you could talk to other families and just talk to them about their experiences and share your experiences. You never know what information you can get from them, as well as the organization. The walk itself has different organizations that are related to autism there to kind of help you, you know, with different programs you can go to, different, if you need like an outlet, like not even, I don't want to say therapy, but like group, like to go to group and kind of get stuff off your chest as parents or loved ones, and kind of vent to people that will actually understand where you're coming from within the challenge of dealing with a family member that's autistic, you know, stuff like that. So I think it's really dope to go to kind of gain an understanding, even if you don't have a family member or a loved one that's directly affected. So I think more people should go. Hopefully next year we have a bigger team, and we're doing shirts. My daughter wants to do the shirts, and we're just trying to do it big this coming year. So
I apologize. I should have been there this year.
No, it's all right. Cause, I mean, at the end of the day, people got lives, and I'm not really stressed out about that. It was just like it's kind of like when you go to see this big walk, and then you see all these teams and stuff. It's like, oh, they got like 20 people, and you just sitting there like, ah. But at the end of the time, like, you could feel discouraged. But then when you it's like that. I don't know. It's like that bond. So whether you got a small team or not, it's everybody's in the same reason.
Yeah.
So you kind of
right. They all in together. Yeah, basically. It's one big family of people sharing that experience, shared experience, right?
Yeah, because you can go there, and whether or not your loved one is high on the spectrum or low on the spectrum, you don't get that if you go out. You got to worry about what people are gonna say, what people are gonna think, how people are gonna look at you, because everybody knows.
Exactly.
So your child could do something, and nobody won't be like, oh, what is that child doing? So or your loved one, because it's not just affecting kids, it's grown people that, you know, that grew up and now older. It was the one lady that I met. She was an older woman. Got to talk to her. She was autistic, but talking to, like, because you just don't know the face of autism. You just don't know it. So you just talk with people, and you kind of get that.
I know one thing, though. You definitely got to worry about being going through it alone. I know sometimes you may feel, but you definitely got us.
Yeah, I know.
Talk, you know what I mean?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's been a journey, but that's why I think this conversation needs to be. I mean, we talked about it before, and I don't really want to go into my personal experience. I just kind of want to generalize the conversation today, add a little bit of personal experience, but I think to kind of dive in, like, I know, you know, it's always crazy because you get more And I find it weird. You get more support outside than inside, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's always like that.
Yeah.
It's always like that. And then because, sometimes people from the inside really don't know how to deal.
Yeah.
To deal with it. And then, instead of us sometimes being more open and more helpful, we tend to personalize it.
Mm.
And I'm talking about from the people from the outside looking in. So it's like, I don't want to do, you know what I mean? So from the outside looking in, sometimes it'd be like, okay, I don't know how to approach the situation, so I don't want to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. You feel me? I don't have all the information. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
To where when sometimes people from the outside, they may have more insight on it through their own personal, interactions or whatever. So sometimes they could be that little breath of fresh air, because sometimes people from the inside, they don't be intentional, but, they just don't know how to deal because maybe they too close to the situation and they can't see properly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's different reasons, you know what I mean? But I definitely understand, with because I talked about that with, I have cousins that are autistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like I want to engage in that relationship with them, but I don't know how. You know what I mean? I don't know where to begin.
I think it's more of that. It's not even how to. It's just to be your genuine, authentic self. Not to say that you're not being yourself, but I think from my eyes, I think people overthink it. It's more of a because I don't know how to. Sometimes I don't know how to deal with him. Deal with my own child, and he's a lot to deal with. So sometimes it's more of, or like when I go on trips with his class and the other kids. Now he may be lower on the spectrum or higher on the spectrum than some of them, and they may be higher than him, some of them. But it's interesting to see my reaction to them because I know how my child is. I don't know how they are. So it's that I think they thrive off of, and one thing about them, they do have an ideal of, they have a sense of who people are. And they're just like, if you're your authentic self and you don't, because I know with my son, if you try too hard, he'd be like, nah, he not going to feel it. Not to say that all of them are like that, but if you are your authentic self, they're going to feel it's almost like a baby, they're going to feel your energy. And they feed off of it. So if you come in genuinely, they're going to genuinely like, okay, let me see what this person going to do.
Yeah.
Because I went to my son and the other little kids were like, wanting to be all up on me. And my son's like, hey, that's my mom. Doing the normal kid stuff. Like, it's my mom, not yours. Get away from her.
Yeah, the one thing you mentioned earlier, Sonny, that I think kind of stood out and that I think is true is that people really do overthink it a lot because they don't really know. I mean, one, they don't know what to think or they don't know what to, like Clint was kind of alluding to, is like some people approach it with the mindset of, how should I act or how should I treat this person or how should I react to maybe their episode, or maybe they're unsure of how they should approach a person from a perspective of, like, how do I, interact with them, that kind of thing. So they genuinely overthink it because they're just unsure, right?
Yeah,
and I think
that,
right. But I think that a lot of times what people have to realize is that people with autism are people, right? You don't approach every person that you meet on the street or that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, trying to figure out how do you, get around them, right? You usually just, like you said, be your genuine self. Usually you try to approach them either with respect or with kindness or whatever the case may be. If it's a child, you try to treat them, like a child, that kind of thing. But you just do, you recognize that there's an extra nuance that you have to be conscious of, but you don't have to overthink it to the point of trying to figure out how to jump through some special hoop or trying to fit some special, peg in a hole. You're basically, and I think of it because I guess as a parent of a lot of children, I think of it as like when I'm raising my kids, I don't raise all 6 of my kids the same way. I don't approach each kid the same exact way, right? There's nuances about each kid. There may be sensitivities with one, or there may be attitudes with another, or there may be things that, I know works better when I'm dealing with one than the other, that kind of thing. And that's just kind of how I think you have to approach people who have autism or any type of social interaction difference, you know what I mean? Either that they're more social or less social. When you're dealing with an introvert versus an extrovert, there's a difference, right? And you have to sometimes take that into consideration. So you do the same thing with a person with autism, is realize, okay, what do I have to, what do I have to just think about in terms of, like, maybe I shouldn't, do something erratic or change something that they're trying to do, maybe, because I know there's patterns that certain autistic people like to see or like to deal with, and if you take them out of that pattern, it makes them have a kind of a breakdown where they just, it just kind of shakes things up to the point where they don't want to deal with that situation anymore. So it's like, okay, if you understand that, then you can approach that person and in that way of, just keeping things simple, keeping things, status quo, straight to the point, that kind of thing, or whatever the case may be. Working with their parents or their caregivers, or if they're independent, people that are around them all the time, may be helpful to understand the person that you're interacting with.
Yeah, I think that for me, my approach is always that I watch my son and how he approaches or how he deals with people. You got people that start talking to him and he's just like la 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 la, and they just having the whole conversation with him, and he's just looking at them like nope, or not looking at them. I make eye contact like that. It's not. I don't think that they're bad people or anything like that, but I just think that he's not feeling their energy, for whatever energy that's coming with them. He's not feeling it. So so when I see him embrace somebody, like I've seen him meet somebody for the very first time and walk up and hug them. And it's like, okay, I'm not used to that. Like, he's usually standoffish. So when he really embraces somebody or says hi to them, high fives, like shows them and makes eye contact with them, that to me lets me know that person has a good energy for him to do that, because he doesn't do it with anybody.
Yeah, say dap me up a few times, and sometimes he just totally ignore me. Feel me? Sometimes I reach my hand out to give Zay some love. Now he say looked at me like, man, what are you doing? Get out my face, bro.
It's just not the day. It's not the day for that.
It's not the day.
Yeah. No. But I kind of want to give out, for those who don't know, which I don't know, what autism is. I kind of want to give that definition.
Yeah, please.
Autism is a developmental disorder characterized by difficulties with social interactions and communication, and by restricted and repetitive behavior. Parents usually notice the signs during the first 3 years of a child's life. The signs often develop gradually through some kids with autism, reach their developmental milestones at a normal pace before worsening. Now, when you look at that, and somebody had a conversation with me the other day, and they were like, it was somebody that also kid was diagnosed with autism, and everything, and they wanted to know, how did I know something was wrong with my son? And I believe I shared this on the last show, but I'll share it again today just so you guys can, because I think that, you know, and it's another thing too. And I've been getting calls recently from different friends and family members about how did I know that my son, something was wrong with my son, and did somebody tell me or did I realize it myself? And basically the conversation went on to where they thought that so-and-so was autistic and they didn't know how to bring it to the family member. So they wanted to get my vibe on how I knew something was wrong, or something, I'm going to say wrong, something was different about my child, because I don't want to say it's wrong. He was built that way, and that's just how he is, and there's nothing wrong about him. So let me correct myself when I say that. So, or I don't think anything's wrong with anybody that has a disorder that, you know, it's, life happens and you just have to kind of roll with the punches. But like I said, I'm going to repeat myself because I said it before, and if y'all know me, I've been through this down this road before. But what I noticed about my child, and that's why I read the definition, was he did everything like he was supposed to. He walked when he was supposed to, 9 months. He talked when he was supposed to. He fed himself when he was, like, you know, when they start holding spoons and stuff, he started doing that. He was talking. He was saying, now, my daughter's name is Hard. My son's name is Xavier, and my daughter's name is Zaria. If you look at it, it's spelled Xaria. And then my name, you know, is Hard. But he used to say Mom, you know, Dad, Nana, Zaria. He used to holler her name down the steps. He used to feed himself. I got video of him, for those who know my Facebook page. I got videos of him feeding himself with the fork, as small as a baby, not even one. So he was on point as far as developmentally where he was supposed to be at, in life. At the different ages he was supposed to be. Some he hit earlier, some like a little bit behind my daughter, but not like still on point. So it was the one day I went to his daycare, and they had the day where the parents came in and read to their kids. So, you know, normal, and with boys, you know, boys are like really usually delayed because they got, most likely for most boys they're just boys, they do some stuff delayed is what I'm told. Especially when they have an older sibling doing stuff for them, they kind of like really can be delayed, but it's not that something's wrong, they have an older sibling doing everything for them. Right. So anyway, I went to the school, and all the parents were reading books to the kids. So it was my turn to read the books to the kids, and I had got there a little before the other parent finished. So as I was got up there to get the book, my son sat on my lap, and he had called, "I'll see you. I'm going to add you as soon as I finish this part." He sat on my lap, and as soon as I started reading the book, it was something different about him that I noticed. And then as I was reading the book to the class, I'm used to him. Now, mind you, I've been reading Cat in the Hat books to him prior. He usually be engaged. This time he was just all over the place. And he was just crying, you know, going through the motions and stuff. So I'm looking at him. And after I read the book to his class that were really, really engaged with the book, I sit in the class and let the other parent read, and I just hang out for a little bit. And I'm watching my child, and I noticed that he's just off. And I'm like, okay, something's up. So for the next couple of days, I kind of watched him and stuff, and then he started to what they call is regress. So he was at that point, he was just starting out potty training, and now he stopped. He stopped talking and saying stuff. He stopped saying Mom, Dad, Nana, and stuff like that. He stopped even saying my daughter's name. When I would eat, like normally, he would take my fork out of my hand and try to eat. Now he wasn't doing that. He was looking forward to me feeding him because he just wasn't, like, just a lot of stuff that he was doing, he completely stopped. So I was like, okay. So I said something to his doctor, and the doctor was like, if he come back at his other milestone and he's still doing the same thing and not talking to me, I'm going to send you to an ear specialist to make sure he can hear. So I said, okay. And I said, I don't think it's that. He said, I don't think it's that either, but I got to test him for Pete's sake. He said, I think I know what's wrong with him, but I'm just going to see what happens. So I said, okay. So a couple months down the line, 3 months after that, I went back, and he was trying to contact my son. My son was not, didn't answer to his name, nothing. So, you know, normally the toe walking, people say toe walking is a sign of somebody that's going to be a runner or whatever. He was doing toe walking. He was lining up his toys. He didn't make eye contact when you called his name, let alone answered you when you called his name. So then we did the next appointment. We did that appointment, and he was like, yeah, you need to go see the ear people. Make sure you can hear. Did that while I was in there doing, I think a week later, we did the the hearing appointment. The lady said he can hear fine. She said, you need to go see the neurologist. I think I know what's wrong with him too, but I'm not going to tell you. I'd rather her tell you. So I was like, at that point I'm a little nervous. I'm like, what the hell is she about to tell me? Like, why you tell me? Like, somebody say something. So then we went to the neurologist. She actually made the appointment while I was in the office to the neurologist to get me the very first appointment. It was like 2 days later. So this was right before his birthday in February. So we got to the appointment, did the whole 2-hour appointment where basically the lady didn't even talk to me. She was just watching him, playing with him, and just seeing him do what he was doing. And then for the last 15 minutes, she kind of got somebody to take him and sat me down and was like, asked me different questions about him. So I was answering them. She was like, just yes or no questions. If you want to elaborate, you can, but don't, not too long. So it's like, okay, so we going through the questions or whatever, and then she got this thing and she checking off stuff. And when people checking off stuff and you talking to them, you start looking like, what the fuck you checking off, whatever. So she does that, and then after that, she's like, Mom, I just want to tell you something, but I don't think you're going to want to hear it. And I was like, well, just tell me. And I got kind of upset because I was like, I don't know what this lady about to tell me. And, the last thing you want to do is hear something wrong with your child, but you know something's wrong. So she was like, your child is autistic. Do you know what autism is? And the first thing I said to her was, the kids that walk around with the helmets that can't function and hear loud stuff. And she just looked at me and she was like, well, that's one form of autism, but your son is autism level 2, which is nonverbal. So he's not able to communicate and stuff like that. And she kind of gave me a pamphlet, gave me the book and everything like that, and let me read what it was. And that's basically how he got diagnosed. And after I read that book, and then I read another book that one of my friends put me on to, because when I said something to her, me and her had a conversation, and she told me her son was autistic. She told me to get this book. I read it, and I swear to God, I was reading about my child. So, for the parents that don't want to accept the diagnosis, and that's one of the things, not that we have to have them live by the diagnosis, they can always progress, but understanding it and accepting what it is and making your child independent is the goal. So a lot of people don't accept it. I don't know if that's the word for it, but, you have to understand what it is, accept it, and push forward, because I was told by that same doctor, neurologist, that, Mom, he may never talk again. And she said that to me, and I think I almost broke down in her office, and she said to me, listen, I'm saying that to you because I want you to understand the reality of the situation. It doesn't mean that's going to be your child. She said, I'd rather give you the worst information, so when he surpassed every goal, because I know that looking at you right now, the type of parent you're about to be, you're going to make sure he's fine. And you're going to make sure that he's doing stuff that most kids aren't able to do. And she said it to me and it hurt, but I think I needed to hear the worst case scenario, because we're now 3 years out of it and he's talking. So, that it is what it is, and we're moving forward. But I think a lot of parents don't like to hear their child being diagnosed, not just black parents, all parents, and they don't like to accept it so that way they can move forward and help their child. But let me grab this caller in, because I had him on hold for about 5 minutes. Caller, you on the line with GSC Radio.
Hey, my name's Patrick Jackson. Hi, Patrick. I know Clint, and
what's going on, bro?
What's up, bro? And I fully understand where you're coming from. I sat here for a little while listening to your story, and I've been dealing with autism for about maybe 8 years now, and when I could tell you, it comes with social disabilities, and it doesn't. It's not a major setback, but you have to adjust your life to just the concept of that's something that you have to always assist them with, and they do, like you have learned. They can progress. They can learn. They can still do everything most kids can. I had one client, who actually knew every last single president and what they did during their term and what happened during their term. And feats like that is things that I possibly couldn't even do, obviously.
Right.
And I've learned that they are so amazing. And I can honestly tell you that doing this, I really enjoy what I do. I really enjoy what I do.
So you work with autistic people?
I sure do.
Oh, that's what's up. What do you do?
Right now, I'm a residential manager at a house with 5 clients.
Okay.
So basically, I just maintain the house, make sure that clients' meds are stocked, make sure that the meds are passed, make sure staff is doing what they're supposed to be doing, paperwork, make sure that they have, the best outlook on life that they possibly can, give them the freedom to explore ideas of what they want to do day to day and on weekends. But we still cause limitations because of, inability to actually make, right choices. Some focus on, things like soda. They every chance they get, they would want to go out and get soda. You know what I mean? Small things like that. And, some clients.
Addiction that debricates is serious.
Right. And it's just certain things that we try to help them and coach them throughout life. And right now I'm trying to help them out because I'm in Virginia now. I just came from Jersey. And honestly, I've learned since I've been out here that, they aren't as advanced as they are in Jersey with, with the whole autism and work-related opportunities, And it's quite amazing because I know Wawa is one main one that actually gives, people with autism the opportunity to give them a job and actually make money and live day to day like everyone else, because when you have some because the spectrum is broad, so you have some that are able to understand but can't really relate. You know what I mean? So that is more frustrating than most people understand. And honestly, as parents, we got to deal with the idea of the fact that you can't even relate because you can't really put yourself in their shoes. And that's hard. Yeah. And I understand. I feel where you're coming from. So I can tell you that I commend you for everything you're doing because you're a full-time mom, and a lot of kids with autism, parents just put them into where I work,
program.
Because because they don't have the time to, maintain the assistance and the one-on-one attention that a kid with autism has. Mm-hmm. And I salute you for that. I truly do. But it's nothing more that you actually can do. Like you brought your child into this world, and you put everything that you can into making sure that that child is kept right. You know what I mean? And I respect you. I respect it. But I'm here to answer any questions that you have, though. Any questions?
I got a question, bro.
Oh, go ahead, Sam. But we got another call on the line too.
All right. Quick question.
Yeah.
Would you how involved? You touched on it a little bit when you talk about the family. You said some people just put their kids in the program, but with your experience, how involved are the families with the people in these programs?
It basically differentiates. It depends on like I have seen clients who actually have family members that come get them every weekend. You know what I mean? I got some that don't even have no family that picks them up at all. You know what I mean? And I got some that comes just get them and take them out to eat and drop them back off. You know what I mean? And I mean literally like 30 minutes out with their family and drop them right back off, and they don't see them for months. You know what I mean? So it's been a broad spectrum, and it's rough. It's rough, man. But that's why I feel as though that me doing what I do is that I feel as though that I try to give them the best opportunity of enjoying my time with them. Not them enjoying time with me, but me enjoying time with them because I feel as though it's my way of giving back, and I love doing what I do, man.
Yeah, I know my son is an ABA teacher. She works at a special service school, and she always tells me she has not only autistic kids but disabled kids, and some of the parents are so not here for their kids. They haven't accepted the diagnosis, so they just can't be bothered.
Yeah.
True.
So their thing is to drop their kid off to school and be done with it. No, like to the point where the teacher is pleading with the parents to be more involved, and like their kid could be sick and the parents just like, I don't want to deal with it.
Wow. Absolutely, and that's the sad part, and it's just like, you know, you have the ones like I had this one client. This is actually where I was in Jersey, and this client he was literally like always getting hurt because his equilibrium was off, because his mom used to keep him in the room and like keep him locked because she was embarrassed of him. So what he used to do is he used to crawl around, and he didn't really learn how to walk until he was like almost 25.
Oh, wow.
So he used to literally always get hurt, you know what I mean? And he had an older brother that my supervisor would always call when he got hurt, and he would never return a phone call. You know what I'm saying? And things like that is real sad to really be a part of, but I feel as though that I feel good that I could at least be there for him if nobody else can. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me add this other caller in. Hold on, guys.
Sure.
Caller, you're on the line with GFT Radio. What's your name? Where are you from?
This is Raymond. I'm from Trenton, New Jersey.
Hey, Ray. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, sorry I'm late calling in, but I had to put the kids to bed.
No, I completely understand that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for listening in. You want to share anything?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Yeah, okay. Number one, my daughter, she's 8, and she has we already was aware of her behavior issues, but couldn't find out she also has autism. We found that out earlier this year. So, long story short, before she was diagnosed with autism, her, I think the CARES program, for some reason she had to wind up going there, and it's like in order to go there, they require that she be on medication, like I forget what it was. Anyway, we as of late last week, we just stopped giving it to her because it's really not doing her any good. And I felt, I was always against, giving kids meds to begin with, but the stuff she was taking is supposed to, supposed to calm her down or, what have you, but to me, it just made her eat more, a whole lot more, and the behavior issues are still there.
Yeah.
So me and my wife just decided to just get away from it, pour off that medicine, because to me, these doctors don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not that we got to, it's like, I don't like doping kids as a solution to every problem.
Yeah.
And it's just that you got to kind of change the environment at home, taking certain sweets out of the out of the cubbies or whatever, so that way they won't be eating as much sweets, if any at all. And I think I pat myself on the back too for not having soda in the house at all.
Yeah.
And it's like you gotta stay away from anything that has glucose in it. And that
they say autism with kids that suffer from autism, the diet is kind of important too.
Oh yeah.
I was just about to ask that.
Some of them are my son is an extreme picky eater, but if you can get them on a good diet, it helps.
Right. Yeah, and
that's true. That's definitely true. That is definitely true. The diet plays a major part into what they do day to day. Because if you expose them to different kinds of foods and different ways of making the foods interesting, because it's all about the perspective. Because because of the intellectual disability, you know, it becomes hard because certain times they get confused about things and they get frustrated. That's what leads to behaviors. And medication isn't always the outlet. It's different ways of, you know, giving them opportunities to feel more independent. Because, you know, as they get older, they get frustrated from the fact that they have to do things and they get frustrated because they can't and they need help. You know, as you get older, anyone wants independence, you know? So it's you're doing a great job, bro. You're doing a great job, and like all you gotta do is just, you know what I mean, look for outlets and look for ways of
definitely
being unconventional, you know, being unconventional to the perspective of challenging yourself just as well as challenging them. Because if you change your environment to how you want it, your daughter's going to flow right with it. You know what I'm saying? She genuinely going to flow right with it. Yeah. And that's a great way of looking at it, bro. You seem like you got everything on hand, bro. So just keep doing what you're doing, man. I respect it.
Trying to is tough, but then my son, haven't touched on him yet. He's a bit of a like his problem was at first it was his speech. Like he had a speech impediment or anything like that. He just didn't talk to a lot of people. You know, when he was much younger. But then he went through OT. He went through that for about maybe a year and some change. And after that, he was going to Stokes. Stokes before he closed. And
right.
They did a really good job with him. And next thing you know, he's speaking more. And I really don't worry about him as much as I worry about my daughter, because I know when he, I could take something from him. Like, my wife tried, we basically took all of the tablets and all of the, basically keeping them off of the computers and, roadblocks and crap like that. And today is the first day of that. And I could say it's somewhat of a success. And he found something else to do, which is something that he did, quite a bit before, he would spend a lot of time on roadblocks, which was drawing. Like, he's known for, like, he's like really into his art. So that's a bit of a therapy for him. Like, that keeps him contained. So
I got a question for y'all.
Go ahead.
So I know I had spoke with the lady that I deal with at Autism Speaks when I do the walk, and I know since you guys are Trenton residents, I know Willie is in Detroit. He can probably answer this as well. You know how we have a lot of the autism programs are within the public schools, and you know how Trenton has a lot of after-school programs throughout Trenton. My issue is, and I brought this up to her, and maybe like it could be something that could be talked to within. Maybe I need to sit and talk to these different people that run these different organizations within Trenton to try to get funding through Autism Speaks about, because there's a lot of programs in Trenton, and I find myself having to send my child 2 towns over or even further than that to get to summer camps or after school programs and stuff like that. And it's just like, for me, I don't drive, so that's one thing. And so I'm at the behest of other people in different ways to perform transportation to get to where I need to go, to get him to go to different programs that are like towns and towns over and stuff, or try to figure it out and make it work for me. But I just think that in the city of Trenton, we have too many programs, and within the Trenton district, we don't have programs that have the capacity or the staff to deal with, because it's a lot of kids that are in these programs that have behavior problems, probably autistic, that never were diagnosed with different developmental disorders, that I think these people need to be trained how to identify it. If the parents don't identify it themselves, they should, because they're in teaching and working with kids type of capacity, they should be trained on how to spot different things, because a lot of these bad behaviors are kids frustrated. Because I know when my son started acting out, it was because nobody understood or spoke his quote unquote language. So he was getting frustrated because he would act out because he's trying to communicate, but nobody's understanding him. So, and a lot of these kids they have behavior problems because no one realizes that. That's how we get these kids that can't read and be all the way in the high school and they can't read because nobody noticed it, or type of things. Or where they have at school programs where if I have multiple kids and my kids are going to one place, my one child has to go all the way 3 towns over because they have a developmental delay or a disability. And I know it's programs geared towards that, but I just think that it should be integrated where, because like how we do autism programs, we have inclusion classes where they're in an autistic class, but they also could be in a regular class to kind of get the best of both worlds, because when they go home, live outside normal life, they're dealing with regular kids, not just kids like them. So I just think that it should be more programs within the city that are like Boys and Girls Club, YMCAs and CYOs and YWCAs and different programs like that should integrate like a program within their own program that could be funded through programs like autism, because they have the money there, they have the resources there, they can write grants to get resources for that specifically, and have people in them programs that we can send our kids to the same program with regular kids, and it kind of like how they're trying to force feed this gender neutral stuff. We should be force feeding accepting our kids with disabilities, because that's more. I'm not to
Right.
Not to say it's more important, but that's something that should be in, like if you're going to force feed something that's been around for so long that people have either shunned or kept quiet.
That's what I'm talking
because
about.
This is what our kids need to see, because you know how many questions I get when I take my child to a playground, which that frustrates me because he doesn't really he doesn't understand the playground dynamics. So he's just trying to do whatever he's doing, and it's like, why he's not talking to me? So as we integrate this gender neutral thing, can we integrate this autism and these developmental displays so that way these other kids, quote unquote normal kids, can understand our kids?
Right.
And learn and learn how to deal with them at a young age, so that way when they're older they won't be looked upon like, oh, they weird, because they already been taught how to tolerate and deal with them. Not I don't want to say tolerate and deal with them, but how to interact with them appropriately.
Exactly.
And not misunderstanding them. Because there's a lot of that going on with my daughter, like, as of late, and they not, like, the teacher knows that she has she's been diagnosed with autism, because, she's trying, something happened to her. It's like she doesn't explain stuff, clearly.
Absolutely.
And it's like she says somebody could do one thing, but then it's like she changes her story because she's not sure how to get it out.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And that's a hurdle we're dealing with right now. So I'm going to probably try to dedicate a day or even a lunch hour to stop by her school and just hang around her, see how things going on, see how her own day-to-day activities is.
So what do you guys think, Clinton? Willie, I don't want to leave y'all out. Willie, are y'all still on the line?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm gonna let Willie go.
Yeah. I was about to say. I think the one big thing is that when I spoke to some representatives from I think it was from Autism Speaks and one of the Michigan programs here as well, is that the challenge is always having enough advocates for these types of programs and policies to be put in place. Like you said, that having truly local programs in cities that need the programs to be there versus, be it, due to transportation, maybe population, like you said, training. There's so many different opportunities to improve these areas for a lot of cities. So it's, but it's the advocates, and unfortunately it does fall on a lot of the parents, a lot of the family members. But I think as a community, we have to realize that we have to be there as well, being folks who either don't have a direct impact or who don't, or who have the time to like you say, push that initiative, right? I don't know, how to say one initiative is either bigger than another, but like you said, I think that this situation is very important because we do have to learn how to include people who have been in general have been either ignored or thrown away, disconnected because people just don't understand, right? Like you said, be it with children having a hard time expressing themselves, being with adults who have a hard time interacting socially, being it with people who are working age who have trouble integrating into a work environment, needing the right type of work environment. I forgot the brother's name that's the at the center, but Patrick, he put it clearly that there's people who have autism but who are geniuses, who are fully capable, who are physically able, who are they may have a great mind but they don't interact well, right? So there's special situations that you can set up for a person like that where they have the area that they need, the equipment that they need, or the resources that they need in order to be successful in a particular type of occupation. When I was at my last company, they were huge on hiring folks who were very apt at calculations, numbers, things like that, which oddly enough, a lot of autistic people have excel at that. They excel at high level computations, at being able to go through a lot of different tedious activities and get them done quicker. Where people who don't have who may have like a inability to focus, but an autistic person is going to be like, hey, I can focus on this and I can get this done, and they'll accomplish it faster than somebody else would. So they were able to find a good fit, like you said,
a niche,
and that's niche. Exactly a niche. And I think that comes from community education, and that's the big thing. We have to advocate for better community education as well as better community integration, so that way people are able to understand that, like you said, Sonny, it's not something that's wrong with these people. It's something that's just unique about them. That's it may be extraordinary in certain aspects, or it just may be a different way that they know how to interact. If it's their own language, or is their own way, or their own method. That young lady that's unable to express herself around teachers may need an advocate in her school that she can deal with directly if she's having trouble or she's having an issue. Someone who can interact and understand her language and be able to translate for her and say, hey, she's just having a bad day, or she's had a situation with another student and she just didn't know how to deal with that situation, or whatever the case may be. So I think we have to push for things like that.
Absolutely. As for me, this goes back to the topic we did a few weeks ago about furthering the conversation and talks that we need to have at home, because Pat pointed it out perfectly with his scenario about the kid that with the equilibrium problems, because the mom was ashamed, so she kept him in the room. And, he used to crawl all the time. See, before we can get the change and the integration of all these programs, that's why I come. Yeah, that's why I come always had high respect for, how Sonny went about it, and because it ain't easy. I know it ain't easy. You feel me? I know it's some stressful days. I got a sister, she got sickle cell, so I know how my mom used to, deal with that. And I remember when at first my mom was scared, but then she just tackled it. She learned everything she could about it. You feel me? to help her child. You know what I mean? And I seen that's what the same thing Sonny did when it came to Zay. You feel me? She tackled it. You know what I mean? She didn't just become a victim. And I think too many times in our community and throughout all communities, not just the black community, but since we, I like to talk about us specifically, I know it's very hush hush. You feel me? It's very hush hush.
True.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't like to talk about it. You feel me? You know, it's a family secret. It's one of them things that you just, you know what I mean? You just don't mention. Like everybody know it's there, but don't nobody want to say nothing. That's why when I seen two of my younger cousins experiencing it, you know what I mean, I had reached out to Sonny to try to get my cousin to talk to her. Know what I mean? So she could, let her know, like, all right, there's other people going through the same thing, and they can show you how to get help. You know what I mean? You don't got to go through this alone. You know what I mean? I know Sonny mentioned before, it's like you have to be proactive, because I remember we were saying, well, there ain't a lot of information out there, and Sonny came with the facts, because when we talked about this on the previous show, and it's like, it's out there. The information's out there. You just got to go get it. You just got to go look for it. You know what I mean? So I think it starts at home. So first we have to talk about it, you know what I mean, and have real, be honest with each other, you know what I mean? Don't run from the conversation, because, as long as we run from the conversation at home, they're going to continue to do what they do. You're going to continue to have these lack of programs, because ain't nobody really fighting for it. You talking about it, but are you really fighting for it if you don't even want to talk about it at home? If the masses. So that's why I feel like these conversations we're having right here is important, because before we could do anything, we have to change our mindset about how we even look at it. You feel me? And how we deal with it. Like Pete said before, we gotta look at it from a different perspective. I like how he said, you know what I mean, he don't want them to look at it like they spending time with him. Is he spending time with them? You know what I mean?
Right.
You feel me? Because when we understand what's going on more, it's like we shouldn't be having the same conversations. You feel me? Because I feel like we had these type of conversations were had in years and decades prior. Now we're older and more mature, like we know what it is. So we shouldn't be having these same conversations. We should be advancing and furthering the conversation. And we should already be at the point to where, all right, we know what it is. We know, you know what I mean? It isn't abnormal. You got to start looking at it abnormal. You feel me? It has been like this forever. That's how when I was talking about, you know what I mean, you agree with the lifestyle or not, the homosexuality. Like it's been around forever. So at the end of the day, at some point, it is what it is. And just you got to deal with it. You know what I mean? So with this situation, it is what it is. You got to deal with it. We know some people, you know what I mean, have these, I only like to call it disabilities, these differences. You feel me? They don't learn like the masses. They don't operate like the masses. So we have to set up for them, because if we do improve it, you know what I mean, we always talk about a healthy and thriving society. Well, if they don't have to depend on us, and we don't have to overreach our, you know what I mean, always helping them, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like Pat said, they don't really want our help. They want to be able to do stuff themselves. So give them the proper opportunities to be able to do stuff themselves. You know what I mean? Like it should be a no-brainer. It should be a no-brainer. You feel me? Like absolutely. I feel like if we still having these conversations, it's like, we got to start at the root. We got to start at the beginning. We got to start at home. You feel me? We need more parents like the brother Raymond on the line, like Sonny. You know what I mean? Like my cousin who went and got help. You know what I mean? We need more parents like that, instead of just want to just hush hush. You feel me? And being ashamed.
I think a lot of them have a problem with the label, and it's like, I look at it like this. Yeah, like autism simply is they're social. They lack social skills and different things that they can't. Like it's a sensory issue. some things they're able to tolerate, and like most folks, they can't focus with a lot of stuff going on. Like they can't do what we do, kind of shut down and just focus on that one thing. It's hard for them to do that unless they really into whatever it is that it is. But when you take them, like I noticed, like I keep taking my son out places, and a lot of people are like, why you keep doing that? Because I want him to get used to every little, like I did the concert this past week, and I helped at a concert. And as much as I didn't want to bring him because I didn't know what I was walking into with him because I never took him there like that before. At the beginning, he got a little scared, but at the end, like he kept crying just like that, whatever. But he wanted to stay. Like the music was like, I want to stay. It was loud, it's like a Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh and all of them. And he was like, he wanted to stay, but he was going through different emotions because it was loud. It was a lot of people. There was a lot of noise. It was people clapping, all that stuff. So like in that environment, it's a lot going on, and they can't focus. Or it's very, not that they can't, it's hard for them to focus. So they either shut down or go through this like kind of a meltdown situation. And it's crazy because I look at it like when I was a kid, I used to go out and see the kids acting a fool, and their parents, they know, like the parents were basically trying to get them together so they can leave a store or something like that. Like that's me now. Like I don't know, like I go to the store with him, and he's just upset about God knows what, and he done had a full blown meltdown in the store. And as much as I, as a kid laughed at it, as an adult, I understand it. Right. And it's like, you don't really know it until you're in it.
Right.
So once you're aware, you kind of know how to move forward. And it's that thing that I said before. You kind of, like a lot of stuff that with people, you don't really know it until it affects you. That you actually grasp the concept to understand. And that's sad.
That's the most challenging part, because what I do day to day is more so basis off, trying not to use those labels, because no one wants to feel alienated as is, because day to day with decisions and the choices we make with our day-to-day lives, we receive labels, don't we?
Yeah.
It's nothing different, It's more so like the guy said, advocates. If we had more parents like Raymond and Sonny and Clint's relative, and literally going and reaching out to all these programs and organizations who bases off their work off of dealing with what your children are dealing with. They have plenty of sources and outlets that they use with their fields of autism, and they are professionals. So all it comes down to is using those outlets and those sources and reaching out to other parents who are doing the same exact thing that you guys are doing day to day, living it 24/7, and using those tools to get more parents to understand that you're not going through the struggle on your own. Because you see many people using all the social media outlets for their Insta famous. You know what I mean? Why can't parents like yourselves do the same in the outlet of what needs to be shined on? Because I feel as though the light is on us, but it's dim, honestly. And I feel as though, just like Clint said, like most parents seem to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And it hurts my heart every day, but that's what inspires me to get up and do what I do. Like I literally have been, since I moved to VA, I haven't called out of work since I've been here, because I look forward to go to work, because I feel as though it's important to me to be a part of their life, because a lot of them don't have the family or the outlets to reach out to somebody. They look forward to, who's coming to work. I know there's one client who literally looks at the schedule and looks forward to who's coming. And the certain staff that he doesn't like, he says, I don't want them to come to work. Can you tell them to call out? Can you work tonight? Actually trying to get me to stay. And it makes me feel honored to know that he wants me around, And
Yeah.
it's like it's a blessing. And I feel as though that if I can see that light, and if I could shine that so other people can see that they're not just different because they act different or they have social interactions isn't to your liking because you're not used to it, because you're blind to it. You're ignorant to the whole fact of the matter that the individuals with these like differences, you know, exist, and you have to be comfortable with it, because I thought equality was all across the world, but we all know that isn't relevant.
Mm-hmm.
So I say that to say this: it comes down to advocacy, and I'm willing to advocate if you guys are willing to.
Yeah, I think we do that on an everyday basis. As far as parents are concerned, you have to be in this type of situation that we're dealing with. We have to advocate for our children because there's no way we can't. The system is set up to with the IEPs and stuff to help you, but you have to be the person to make sure the IEPs are enforced. The programs that you have for your child, you have to make sure that they're doing things according to how you want them done. It's different programs throughout the state of New Jersey that a lot of people don't know about that help. And when you get those programs, they have their own kind of sort of IEP of how they're going to help develop your child to be self-sufficient. So you always have to be the person that if something's not right, you have to advocate. You can't just be one of them parents that's complacent with the status quo. You have to make sure that all the services your child's supposed to have is they're having.
Right.
I do it. My son has a teacher come here every day. Right now I'm faced with a problem of the services might have to stop or have to go lower down in hours, and then the possibility of going back up in hours is going to be a struggle for me. But at the end of the day, I'd rather him go down than to not have service and regress and then have to deal with the uphill battle to get him back to full services. But that's me.
Hold on. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. What was the reasoning why they was trying to cut services, though?
Well, because the program that he falls under is basically they're missing the BCBA. It's like a behavior coordinator, person that basically does the whole like outline of the IEP. They're the supervisor of the ABA person that comes to kind of work with him throughout the week. So they don't have one. Their last one had to quit in the process of this new term. So they've been without one for a while. So they don't have a projection of when they're going to get a new one that has to meet all the state qualifications. So the only thing is that I have to either cancel services until they can find one, which God knows when that'll be. And then because they've been trying since the summer, and right now we're in October and they still don't have one. So now the only option is to suspend services right now until they find one, or lower down and keep the ABA that he has almost for 2 years now, which I love her because he's been through 5 ABAs because they've been like quitting because the job not paying them enough or whatever. So now he has one that's been consistent. Not only is she an ABA, but she's also a teacher in the social services school. So it's a bonus for her, for him.
Right.
So she's been with him for 2 years. So I have to go down to 10 hours and then fight like hell to get back up to the 12 to 20 hours a week, because they're going to say, oh, well, you signed a document saying that he can go down to 10, because I don't want him not to go without services. So because they're used to they're used to that schedule. So when the schedule breaks, they can either regress or stop doing a lot of things. He's starting to talk more. So now I got to worry about him not talking more, him having temper tantrums again and going through that process again, and then starting back over with somebody new.
And that's the struggle right there in general, because when they learn day to day, it becomes repetition, because you have to be consistent. Yeah. Consistency is key, and that's what in this field of work, I can tell you that my days are, when it comes to paperwork and doing the job, it's the same routine. But with them, it's I would say I can't compare any day to the next, and they deal with the ups and the downs that we deal with every day. Some days they just not with it. Some days they up, some days they down. Some days they in between in the gray area, and some days they literally aren't cooperating. But you know, it literally comes down to your approach. You know, to how you word certain things, because certain words and certain labels are triggers. You know, and you have to watch your way you speak, your tone, you know, your posture, because I know dealing with the day to day it's not easy. It's not easy at all. But if you,
so that's going to be the problem I have to kind of face.
Because the regression from dealing with, you know, the program being one way to switching up, and you can't really correlate that to him and explain it, you know what I mean? And so that leads to him not understanding it. That leads to him to being frustrated. That leads to behaviors. And that's something that they can't even help you with at the time, because they can't even give you more hours, you know? And that's the hard part.
Yeah, they said I basically had to fight and do a whole why did I go down and thing. I'm like, rather, like what would make sense, to stop it completely or to go down until you can go back up? That would make more sense, especially you know what type of kids you're dealing with. And so they're not saying it's impossible, but it's going to be an uphill battle. And as a parent, you're telling me that, and I'm going to fight like hell, and I'm not going to take no for an answer. So we need to get this done, because come summer, I don't want to hear that he's not. And then even with that, once he goes back up, he has to start with a whole new ABA.
And that's a problem. That's a major problem, because they get, I would call it, you know, once they get used to certain people, they more so get attached, you know. Familiarity is key, because it's all about, like I said before, you know, your approach, because you have to be impressionable, you know. Like literally, this is not a regular day-to-day job, you know, because you have to come in with that demeanor, because if you don't leave your stuff at the door, what problems you got day-to-day, just base it off saying from my perspective, because, you know, I got stuff going on just like everybody else, you know, but I go in with that upside mindset that I have to every day to, you know, enjoy living in the moment with them, because it's priceless, you know, because I know being the parents that you are, I know y'all have those moments where y'all just sit there and smile with each other, you know, and it's priceless just to have those moments with, you know, with people that you love, and to deal with that concept of no one is actually, you know, given the outlets in the city for everyone to have training for actually, you know, learning and being able to understand that, you know, everyone is different in today's society. It's not just in the suburbs or just in the hoods. You know, it's everywhere.
Hold up there. I want to ask Raymond a quick question.
Sure.
You still on the line? Raymond still on the line? Yeah, you said you're married, right?
Yes.
I hope this ain't too personal, but has that situation affected? Has it brought you and your wife closer, or has it affected anything? How has that? Has that been an issue with your relationship?
I mean, not really. I mean, we might disagree on how we approach the kids. Like me, I'm a lot better now than I have been before, because I was very short tempered, and I would holler at the kids, and she'd be the one to be to basically check me. But then as time went on, I gotten better, started going to more, things like school trips and, talk, basically communicating with their teachers more. So I would have to say that, she's been a more educated one than I have.
But the fact that you're even trying is dope, because it's a lot of. I have a friend.
And she actually has MS on top of it. She has health issues herself.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a friend that's married also. Yeah, I have a friend that's married also, and she accepted the diagnosis. Her spouse did not. I think the spouse recently accepted it, but it was a battle of she wanted to do stuff for her child and get things set in motion, and he was the opposite of that. And I think it ended up coming. Yeah, and I think it was at some point. I think they had to sit down and have a conversation and figure out what was best for the child, and had to put their own feelings aside. And now they're on the same page. But like I like it's almost like dealing with a sick kid. You have to. It's everybody takes it differently, and nobody's going to take it the same way. I would say for my son's father, me telling him he was the same way I was. Give me all the information. Let's figure this out.
Yeah.
And the same books I was reading, he was reading. So when he got to deal with it firsthand, he used to yell at me about he's just a boy. He's doing this. It's not that he's autistic. He's just a boy. And we had some of those conversations where, like, I would say, well, this is why. He like, no, it's not. It's just he's a boy, and you know. So it goes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm.
But we got one more caller, guys. I want to put one of you on hold because I don't know if I can get the call. I'm gonna see if I can get the caller in, but if I can't, I have to put my on hold. So hold on one second. We're about to wrap this down, but I want to try to get them in before we wrap it.
That's fine.
Am I adding them in? Caller, you on the line? TFT Radio.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
How are you?
Who are we talking to?
Tanisha.
Hi, Tanisha. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Hello.
What's going on? Hey, Raymond.
Hey, Nisha, what's up?
How are you?
All right. Shannon here, too.
I enjoyed this conversation. I work, I think for the last 6 years, I've been working in special ed classrooms, self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're talking about, I go through and I understand completely. So all I would just say is the parents have a lot of rights that they really do. A lot of them I see, they really don't realize the resources that they have, or the many rights that they have. And just to make sure whatever they put in their IEP, that they make sure that they're fulfilled, because that's state requirement.
Amen.
So
that's the biggest fight, though.
Huh?
I said that's the biggest fight, is to make sure what's in their IEP is done. It's happening.
Yeah, and they have to stay on top of it. So I've seen a lot of, like I said, I'm in the school system. I've seen a lot, and I'm just like, but there are a lot of parents, I wouldn't say, well, they just need to stay on top of it. And they really need to advocate for their kids.
Okay.
And that's
real
where
quick.
you would see.
Real quick.
Yeah, Shannon's been on top of it.
Say what an IEP is. Say that. What is that?
Oh. The IEP is the
individualized education program.
It's an individualized overall talking.
Yeah.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. IEP is when a child is classified, they have an individual evaluation plan. These are the goals for the child and what they're expected. Each child that is classified have one. They're state mandated, so they have to be upheld.
Absolutely.
And the parents have the input. So basically, what happens is
they want the child to reach and everything else.
Yeah, they basically have to sit down in these meetings. Sometimes it's once a month, and not once a month, once in the school year or twice in the school year, where you basically set out the goals for your child, and you have to agree to them. Like you can object to certain things. You can make sure that certain things are placed in the IEP. Like as a parent, like I said, you have to advocate for your child. I know I'm shout out Nicole at SPAG, Special Parent Advocacy Group. She has a person that personally can come with you to the IEP. to make sure that your IEP is done the proper way, make sure your child is getting the services that you want to get. They come, she has, I believe her name is Carrie, that will come out with you for Trenton Public Schools and other schools around the areas. She comes out and makes sure that either if it's not implemented, they will come and advocate to make sure stuff is getting done, because that is a legally binding contract that the district must follow, period. And if they're not following it, that you could take legal action. So you need to be on point as a parent to make sure that your child is getting what you want them to have, and making sure that what they are signed up for is actually happening.
Absolutely.
True.
But we got to get ready to wrap the show, guys. I don't want to jump more into the topic, and then we have to kind of cut everybody off. But we appreciate you guys calling in. Thank you for your input.
Thank you. Thank you all.
I know how the call got dropped. Thank you for calling, Tanisha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond and Patrick, for calling in.
No problem.
Thank you for having me.
Don't be
strangers. Thank you for having me. Y'all have a good night.
Try not to be. All right, y'all.
Peace. One.
That was dope.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, that was definitely dope. Because we got two people that work with them, and then we got parents. So that's I think this is probably was a really informative show for parents and other people alike, because you kind of get to grasp the concept of the struggle that we have to go through, not only necessarily with our kids, but with the system.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And like Tanisha said too, it's so many things that are afforded to us parents for our children. We have to go out and gain the knowledge and educate ourselves. We can't be knowledgeable, or you have to kind of link up. And this is what I think the Autism Speaks walks in autism. I know the other one I used to do was POAC. I forget the acronym and what they mean. But there's so many programs out here that basically can give you the footprints on how to progress and move forward with your loved one, and how to advocate for your family members. And people period, but you have to be receptive to them. Like everybody's been saying online in this synopsis, it starts from the actual family member or a parent to take the initiative, and if the parent's not taking the initiative, nobody else can really do anything.
Exactly.
We have to advocate for our babies, grown or otherwise. We have to. It doesn't stop at once they're grown. These kids, they may be independent, but they still need you. You know.
Well, that's it, folks. I mean, appreciate the callers again. I just want to shout them out. They came with the info. They came. Appreciate that.
I'm so glad we got them. We got those callers. I'm so glad for that.
And I had to ask, because that was the ranking that question, because I know we only got a minute left, but I just know how it can affect the relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
On it, you know what I mean? Because the kid, it ain't just the kid going through it; it's the whole family going through it.
And that's what people don't realize too. It's not just the kid; it's the family as a whole.
Right.
Siblings and all. In fact, and that's what they said at the Autism Walk. They was like, thank you. They thanked everybody. They thanked the parents. They thanked the kids that are, or people that are diagnosed. They thanked the siblings for being there, because it's a lot on them. They didn't sign up for a lot of this stuff. They just have to be, And having somebody like that in your family takes a lot away from you, because your parent has to focus more on them. So I think that people forget that it affects the family as a whole, and everybody needs that outlet to kind of get a break away from.
Right.
But let's wrap it. Wrap our info.
Hit me up on my Twitter at eTrentonGroomy, A King's Truth 609 on Instagram, and King's Truth on Snapchat.
You can get me at Willie Styles everywhere, and WillieStyles.info for all my links.
And of course, it's your girl, I am Sunny_D, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. On my blog, unreservedlyme.com. Like our Facebook page, gftradioshow.com. Go to our website, gftradioshow.com. Did I say that already? I guess. I don't know. Get all our links on YouTube, iTunes, everywhere else. teespring.com/store/GFT Radio. Cop the merchandise. Support this podcast. We're doing it for y'all. So support us as we keep making shows better and better for you guys going forward. Thank you for listening tonight. Clint?